So here we have me doing 165 pounds. You're probably wondering, why am I watching someone lift 165? It's not even in kilograms, man. Unless you're like 6 years old, this isn't impressive. But in any case, why am I posting this? Partly because I want to see my progress. I think it's motivating for me. It's kind of interesting because I never really recorded myself lifting, so it's probably also good for me to check my form and get that under control as well. And maybe, somebody out there can find some inspiration seeing somebody, um, I don't know, not with the best genetics, not completely jacked, coming and lifting a little bit. So I'm doing set one. Basically, this is a 5-3-1 program. So maybe I'll talk more about that in the future. But basically, this is week 3, day 2 of this program. And so this is going to be mostly like deadlift focused. So here you see me getting a 3/4 inch plywood, making sure that I'm not just doing like deadlifts off blocks, I guess. So anyways, it's a 5-3 program, 5-3-1 program, and it's good for me because there's volume, but then there's also sort of increased single reps, that you're supposed to be doing. So, my goals, I guess, I want strength gains, but then, if you eat well, then this will also get you some hypertrophy as well. So progress is good. And looking back, strength, I think, is something that I've probably neglected over the past few years. I think partly because of injury concerns and partly because I haven't really lifted super consistently. So yeah, I made an Excel file, and I realized the numbers haven't really moved too much when it comes to how much I can bench, deadlift, squat, that kind of thing. I also ended up plotting my weight, and it turns out that basically I've weighed 165 pounds plus or minus 8 for the last like 15 years. And in order to get stronger, you should probably also get a little bigger. So so here we are. So this is kind of the working set. So this is 215 pounds. And you could probably just tell just looking at me, my leverages, my limb ratios are pretty good, I think, for deadlifting relative to the other lifts. I mean, obviously, 215 pounds, not the most, but like I said, I'm sort of easing into it. So I do like deadlifting, and I think we like doing things that we're good at. So, maybe got to work on my form a little bit here. But overall, I think this was pretty easy to move this weight. The reason I'm actually doing 215, the reason, I'm not doing more weight is because I severely undervalued my maxes. So basically, in first starting out this program, I put in my 1 rep maxes for, the big lifts, and I probably put something like 225 or something from my 1 rep max for deadlifting. I've done something in the 300s before, but I think I really wanted to make sure that I didn't get injured. I'm older now, I'm in my 30s, so I think for me, safety first is sort of the name of the game. And that's for a lot of reasons, right? Like, one, you're not going to, if you get injured, you're not going to recover as well, if at all, compared to somebody who's like much younger. So, I don't want to live with that kind of injury. And then also, injuries get in the way of training. So, if you like to work out, lift, whatever, you want to make sure that you're not injured all the time. And then finally, I don't want my job to be affected by injuries. So, I think even if I'm slow in starting out, in terms of getting those numbers higher and higher, I'd much rather start from a more conservative place because, with auto regulation and stuff, I'll finish this month of training. And then when it's time to start like a new cycle of training, I'll use my lifts during this part to determine kind of what my 1 rep max is going to be that I'm going to work off of. So, maybe use like one of those 1 rep max calculators. They're not very accurate. I think if you're doing like 14 reps, but it'll get me in the ballpark. In any case, like I was saying before, basically I looked at my weight as well. And over the last like 10 to 15 years, I've basically only, really gone as like high as 170. It's 6 or 7 or something maybe. But usually when I gained weight, it was more because I had stopped working out and like, life got busier and I ate more. So it's not like I was working out and gaining weight. I was just sort of gaining weight. So then when I did have a second to work out, my focus wasn't, hey, let's now work out and try to gain muscle. It was, okay, let's work out and diet at the same time. So usually my most like productive working out periods in the last few years have also coincided with me sort of needing to go on little mini cuts here and there. But, now I think I finally have time to where I can not only work out, but I think I also have the mental, physical, whatever capacity to put on a little bit of weight intelligently, right? Maybe get up to like 185 or something max. Maybe, I think my frame isn't built to handle like 270 pounds of muscle. So obviously that's not going to happen. But here we are now. We're doing sets of 10. So again, I like this 5-3-1 program because it forces me to push heavy on those singles. And then, if you eat right, if you eat in like a caloric surplus and you do volume work, you're also going to, get bigger. So doing these sets of 10, this is at 50% of my supposed 1 rep max. So doing these, it's nice. You get to also kind of think about your form and stuff a little bit as well. And I know I'm not going to feel it today, but I think probably in like 30 hours or so, I'm going to have a pretty sore lower back. So it's nice to just kind of put in the work. I will say that, you see all this equipment in what I'm going to argue is probably the greatest home gym of all time. It's already sort of been worth it. I've had gym memberships, and I guess one part of all of this is I work shifts. So in this particular video, I had finished working at 7 a.m., right? I worked 12 hours. I finished at 7 a.m. And then I went and slept for like, I think probably like 6-ish hours, woke up, and I think about 45 minutes from now in this video, I have to, be at work. So I have to still shower and then drive to work. When you have schedules that are kind of like that, where everything is sort of condensed together, it's pretty difficult sometimes, like mentally, to say that, hey, I'm going to use these few precious moments, hours I have, and, other than, eating, showering, resting, thinking about, work and stuff, I'm going to, take the time to drive to gym, which might be like, 15 minutes away. I'm going to, maybe have to wait for machines. I'm going to, work out there, come back, drive back, instead of having to do all that and being able to just sort of, walk into a room and start working out. It's been like supremely beneficial. And honestly, if I didn't have this equipment at home, I would not have worked out today. And there's probably a lot of days like that, especially when you have shifts, multiple days in a row. So yeah, I do shift work, sometimes it's days, sometimes it's nights. And with that kind of schedule, and time is sort of at a premium for me. And so, I'm pretty happy and thankful that I have something like this that I can use at home. So yeah, more little deadlifting here. Look at that. I think some people probably get tired. They're not maybe able to do the same exercise over and over and over again. For me personally, I feel like as long as I know that the result of this kind of workout is positive, I know that, hey, if you put in this work, if you go ahead and do these sets, you do these reps. Oh, there we go. My terrible attempt at like a clean. But it's nice for me because I know that it works, right? I trust this process. I trust this workout plan. I know that I'm doing volume. I know that I'm, lifting heavy, or I will be. And so for me, it's not really difficult to focus and, do these workouts. Plus, they're pretty fast. I can get done with these workouts in maybe 35, 40 minutes, which a lot of that is kind of spent resting, but it's productive, it's fast, and it's easy to do if you have a busy schedule otherwise. So yeah, 531 program. Jim Wendler wrote it. There's a lot of stuff online about it. He also has books, so you can look that up. This variation's called like boring but big. So basically, it's just like 3 exercises a day. So we're finishing off with some ab work. I'm doing hanging straight leg raises, and again, the same thing that kind of makes me, well, I don't know if it's the same, but basically my limb ratios, I think, make this particular exercise a little bit taxing on my back. So especially if I extend my legs out all the way. So if I extend my legs out all the way, I feel like my lower back gets sore a lot more quickly than my abs. And I just did deadlift, so I don't want to kind of double dip on the lower back. So I'm sort of bending my knees a little bit. Ideally, I think, some gyms have like ab crunch, like weighted machines that are easier to, incrementally increase the weight on. So, that's not really feasible right here, but maybe I can jimmy rig like a pulley system or something. Maybe do some cable crunches that way. In any case, I had to cut this one short because I needed to take a shower and get to work. But yeah, you see me looking at my watch there, just making sure my heart rate goes somewhat back to normal before I start a new set. And yeah, I'll hopefully be posting like a video every week. I'm doing this program. I'm hoping that in the next few months, you'll be able to see maybe the fruits of my labor, maybe some max attempts. That might be kind of interesting. And really, I'm not some guy, 250 pounds, former or future, Mr. Olympia bodybuilder or something. I'm just some guy. So, hopefully there's some inspiration there, and I can be the comparison by which, all these other people on social media can shine. Anyways, thanks for watching. See you next time.